Hey, this is Regina Y. Favors with Homeless Recovery Tips. So, the topic today is about romantic entanglements and the urge or the encouragement to hold off on romantic entanglements when you're homeless. Uh, it seems that it is very counterproductive to insist on pursuing a romantic relationship when you are homeless. You are homeless. You need to make sure that you understand your current state, that you are in a state of instability. And pulling at a relationship before your season, before you have resolved your current situation of homelessness, is out of order. There are things that you need to do step by step, order by order, moment by moment, period by period, season by season. And when you are homeless and you are trying to pull at a relationship, it's like you are combining two different seasons in your life, two different moments in your life, two different periods in your life, two different um, um, contexts in your life. There's one context where you are homeless, and that may be due to a weather related issue. It could be due to a financial issue. It can be due to a family related issue. It can be due to a number of issues, a job loss, right? And then there is the context of romance, which has its own trials, tribulations, experiences, progresses, etc. And with engaging in a romantic relationship, um, you will immediately have to consider your finances. You can't go out on a date for free. And at some point, even if you went to say say McDonald's or something like that, somebody got to pay. And if you are going 50-50 or Dutch or anything like that, you're going to have to pay. So you are saying that it is okay for you to pay on a date, than actually pull your money together to save towards getting an apartment. How many times do I see couples um, who are homeless and they are ride or die for each other, and they're homeless and they don't have the mindset that maybe we need to put the romantic relationship on hold for a minute so we can concentrate on getting out of this homelessness, because it is a box. It's the equivalent of a box. It's the equivalent of a cage that you have to get out of. And you have to design strategies. You're going to have to bring in knowledge, understanding. You're going to have to read a book, take a class, accept wisdom, accept instruction, move step by instruction. And when you are in a romantic relationship, it's a distraction from your immediate goal that you need to set. I need to get out of homelessness and I need to get into a home, into a housed status. And sure, you could come together, pull your resources together, and try to get a place together as a couple. The problem is you're still having the problem of surviving that homelessness as two people who were homeless together and decided to come together. So now you go into a state of house status. Say you pull your money together and you go into a state of house status, but you're not in an overcoming uh, mindset. You're still in some ways surviving, because if you don't change your mindset and the other person changes his mindset, then you are surviving, but the other person is overcoming. If you change your mindset and the other person does not change his mindset, right, you are in a state of overcoming, and the other person is in still in a state of surviving setback. So it can go either way. It's like the ball that's on the wood stick that we used to play with as kids, and we used to hit it like a paddle, hit it up and down, right? The hit the ball up and down, and then sometimes we would have a rhythm, and then sometimes we get off rhythm, and the ball will fall, and then we have to repeat the process all over again. And that's what happens when you are in a homeless situation trying to reach after a romantic relationship, because most oftentimes these are romantic entanglements. You don't have one, you don't have a homeless person just maintaining contact with just one person. There's always an ex, and then there's always somebody that they are now interested in, and then you are interested in the person, which interrupts their process with one or two people. It's like the person who is in jail, who's in prison. He's not writing to just one person. She's not writing to just one person. They usually have a rotation of people that they are writing to so they can receive letters, cards, gifts, money from different options and resources. And so when you engage in a relationship while you are homeless, you are stepping into you are stepping from one instability to another instability, because you are both unstable. You are both in unstable situations, and you're both 100% responsible for each other individually. You are not responsible for someone who is not your husband, and that person is not responsible for you if you are not their wife. So that would be the exception to the rule, that if you were both married and ended up having to go into the shelter, and you were on one side and he was on another side, and you're both coming together to work together and try to resolve this immediate life issue, then that is the exception to the rule. But if you are a single individual, a single female, single woman, a single man, you are under no obligation to consider anyone else while you are life planning, while you are planning your life out of homelessness. You need to consider yourself. It doesn't make any sense to call someone your boyfriend or your girlfriend while you are staying outside living in a tent. Some point that person needs to come to his or her senses and say, I don't want my woman out here on the ground in a tent, subject to anybody to come and attack and rape and do whatever. I want her in a home. I want her in a home so I can be able to provide for her, and I want her to also be able to cook for me, and we have a couch together, and we watch a little TV, and we take time trying to decorate the place. But I want us in a home. I don't want to pitch a tent every time we have to go to sleep, and I don't want to set the house. I don't want to set the tent up as if it is a home, uh, especially if it could be moved by the city or someone could steal something, right? And so here it is, you are trying to get out of homelessness and engage in a relationship, and it's emotionally and psychologically and mentally very distracting, because you want to be in love, but that's out of order. You don't have time to be in love. You have, the only season you are in right now is homelessness and trying to get out of it. And so trying to reach after a romantic relationship is no different than reaching after a crutch. It becomes your third leg. And you maybe you have the fear of trying to make it on your own. So let me just pull at somebody so that I could hold on to that person. And you could be the person who with the finances, you could be the person with the resources, you could be the person with the access to housing, because you got on program and it connected you to housing, and then you decide you want to bring somebody from the shelter to your housing. Okay, that's not a good idea, because again, you don't know who that person is. You don't know what they have been, where they have been, if they're married, if they are divorced, if they have kids that they're not taking care of. You definitely don't want to trust a man if he's not taking care of his own kids. If he's not taking care of his seed, his blood, he's definitely not going to take care of you. Don't listen to anybody who tells you different. Don't listen to any man who says, well, the the mother won't let me see the kids or whatever. Well, you got the court system. You got a job. You can pay for the court system to go and get legal custody, or co-parent, partial custody. There is a way that you can do this. What happens with individuals is that they want both. They want to be able to say that the mother isn't letting me keep the kids or see the kids, but they also want to pull at the mother for companionship and sex, and then push her back when the person has already gotten the companionship and sex. And so there's this tug of war, this playing around, this rebounding within the relationship dynamic that you might be walking into. And so, again, it could be a situation where a person recently broken up with a woman or a man, and they had to go into a shelter. And here it is, you meet the person, and you're thinking that the person is single because how shoots he's in a shelter. Why wouldn't I mean if he was with somebody, he would be with that person. He wouldn't be in a shelter. That could not be further from the truth. You have plenty of people who can be with somebody and still be in a shelter, and you think they are alone, and it happens every time. And so that's why you want to hold off on romantic entanglements, because again, you don't know the person, and first of all, you haven't gotten you straight yet. You need to make sure that you get you straight yet, whatever the finances situation is, whatever the job situation is, whatever the housing situation is, and any other hindrance that could prevent you from moving forward. So this is homeless recovery tips. Hold off on romantic entanglements.